So here first we're gonna discuss about user accounts, privileges, groups. So we'll cover two things that show up constantly in real tech support and on A+. First, the difference between the standard and admin accounts, and secondly, why group matters and how we manage users and groups in Windows. So first, user accounts and privilege levels. So basically it's standard account and admin account. So a standard account is for normal everyday use. You can run apps, browse the web, save files, but it cannot make big system changes without permission. Whereas admin account can make system wide changes. The that includes installing software for all users, changing security settings, creating accounts, modifying system files. Admin accounts have more power, so they also have more risk if used carelessly. So, like for example, a person tries to install a printer driver or a software tool for class, and the Windows asks for administrator password. So that happens because installing drivers or system level software can affect the whole computer, not just one user. So Windows blocks standard accounts from doing that to reduce damage from mistakes or malware. If you enter admin credentials, Windows allows the change. And we have elevated privileges and why it run as administrator exist. So even if you logged in as an admin, Windows doesn't give you full admin power to everything automatically. Instead, it uses a safety step called elevation. Elevation means you are temporarily giving a program higher permission to do a specific task. Um, like for example, a program needs to edit a system setting or write to a protected folder. It fails click uh, unless you click unless you right click and choose the run as administrator. So that is because Windows is protecting the system. It wants you clearly confirm, yes, I want this program to have higher access. So this helps prevent silent changes by malware and helps prevent accidental system damage. And we have groups and account management. So why groups matter? uh, Groups are used because it's easier to manage permissions to for a group than for each person one by one. Instead of giving access to 10 different users, you put them in one group and give the group the access. Like for example, in a computer lab, you want all students accounts to use a shared folder called something like class files. um, but you do not want them to change system settings. You can put all the students in a group, like name it as something like students, and give that group permission to read and write in the class files folder. So that way, when a new student arrives, you just add them to the group and they automatically get the right access. You do not have to reconfigure permissions for every new user. Then we have a basic user and group configuration in Windows. So basic account management means you can create users, change passwords, reset passwords, and add users to the groups. You'll often do this to control what someone is allowed to do on a computer. Like for example, a staff member needs to install approved software updates, but they should not have full control of the computer all the time. So common approach is keep them as a standard user most of the time, and only add them to admin group if needed, or use admin account for installation tasks. So this reduces risk still still letting the job get done. So standard accounts are safer for everyday use. Admin accounts can make system-wide changes. Elevated privileges are the temporary permission boost you give when needed. Groups make permission management simpler because you assign access to the group, not each person. So if you want, uh, yeah, it depends on, how you were how you're gonna use them. um, so next we have authentication options and NTFS permissions. uh, so we'll cover two very common support topics, which is how people sign into Windows and how Windows control who can access files and folders using the NTFS permissions. So both show up a lot in uh, real world troubleshooting. So first we have authentication options. We have password. Password is a classic sign-in method. It works for local accounts, Microsoft accounts. It's usually the main fallback option if other sign-in methods fails. We have PIN. It's a PIN as a short code. As you know, it's a used in Windows for sign-in, often through Windows Hello. Um and we have biometric. So biometric means using a body feature, like face scan or fingerprint. It's a fast and convenient. And yeah, that's about authentication options. Next we have NTFS permissions. So NTFS permissions control who can access files and folders on Windows drives formatted with NTFS. At a simple level, the permissions you see most often are read, write, modify, full control. So these permissions decide what a user can do with a file or a folder. So for example, a person can open a file but cannot save changes. That usually means they have read permission, not write or modify. They can view the file, but Windows blocks editing to protect the file from changes. Next, we have inheritance. Inheritance means permissions can flow from one parent folder down to subfolders and files. That is useful because you do not have to set permissions on every single file, but it can also create surprises when someone changes a permission at the top level without realizing it affects everything underneath. So like for example, uh, like a teacher changes the permission on a main folder to restrict access, and suddenly students cannot open files in subfolders that used to work. So that happens because subfolders often inherit permissions from the main folder. So when the parent changes, the child folders update too. So one change can affect many folders at once. um, yeah, passwords are the main sign sign in method and usually fallback. Pins are device based and may need to set up per device. Biometric depends on hardware and drivers. NTFS permissions control file access, and inheritance can cause unexpected access changes because permissions flow from parent folders to everything inside. Um, that's about authentication and NTFS. Next, we have so we'll cover two areas that matter a lot for real support work. First is how to share folders safely and when encryption helps, and secondly, the basic maintenance and recovery habits that keep Windows reliable, like updates, startup cleanup, backups, system restore, those kind of things. So first we have save folder sharing. So when you share a folder, you are giving other people access to your files over the network. Safe sharing means two things: share only what is needed, not your whole drive. Give the lowest access level that still lets them do their job. So in practice, that usually means sharing a specific folder and choosing who can read only and who can edit. That's yeah, that's basic. Encryption means that the data is scrambled, so it cannot be read without the correct key or sign in. It is used when you want to protect, even if someone steals the device or removes the drive. So sharing controls who can access files while the system is running and connected. So encryption protects the data if the drive or laptop ends up in a wrong hands. So for example, a laptop is stolen or lost. If the drive is encrypted, the thief cannot easily read the files by removing the drive and plugging into another computer. So without encryption, someone could potentially take the drive out and access the files more easily. So encryption is especially important for laptops or and any device that leaves the building. Um, Next we have operating system maintenance and recovery essentials. So first we have patch management. So patch management means keeping Windows updated with security and bug issues, bug fixes. Updates are not just new features; they fix problems and close security holes. Like for example, a computer keeps getting infected or acting unstable. If it is missing updates, it may be exposed to known security issues that attackers already understand. So installing updates reduce the risk and often fixes reliability issues too. Next we have startup control. So startup control means managing what runs automatically when the computer turns on. So too many startup programs can slow boot and waste memory. Uh, and backups. So backup is a separate copy of important data. As you know, backups protect you from drive failure, failed update. Or so simple rule is if you care about the file, it must exist in more than one place. And then we have a system restore. So system restore is a Windows recovery tool that can roll back system settings and some system files to an earliest point. It is useful when a driver update or software install causes problems. So it does not usually recover personal documents and it's not a full backup. Like for example, after installing a new driver, the computer starts crashing. So you can use the system restore to return the system to a restore point from before the driver was installed. This can quickly undo the bad change and get the computer stable again. So share only the folder you need, give the lowest access level that works, and use encryption to protect data if the device is lost. Keep Windows updated, control startup programs, keep regular backups, and use system restore to roll back bad system changes. Yeah, that's it for these topics.